Hello, everybody. A lot of news to cover in the past couple of days. It's crazy how much stuff has happened, honestly. So we're gonna get right into it. First off, with the post office, I learned recently that it's in the Constitution as an American right. The post office. It's also the highest rated part of government with 91%. Being able to vote is a key part of democracy, obviously. Trump complained that the Green New Deal was drawn by children. I think the worst things he's done as president is 50-50, 50% dividing the country, 50% undoing Obama's environmental regulations. And to talk bad about the Green New Deal is just really stupid, on top of everything else he's done. But AOC clapped back at the president. I think she should have been able to speak more at the convention, being a rising star, and talking more to the more liberal side of the Democratic Party. But I think the convention, the Democratic National Convention, was very well done, especially for being all virtual. New York Attorney General sued to block Postal Service changes, which is a very good thing. Another risk factor to COVID 19, along with smoking, is vaping, and that makes sense with the lungs being a main issue. Vapers aged 13 to 24 5 times as likely to get coronavirus. Excuse me. 8-time Olympian gold medal sprinter Usain Bolt got coronavirus. NBC accidentally put a picture of Kevin Hart, and that was kind of funny. Kevin Hart actually did get COVID coincidentally in March, but he didn't report it to the media until recently. On the 27th of August, U.S. coronavirus deaths passed 180,000. Delta Airlines is doing a good job because they put 240 people on a no-fly list for not wearing masks. Um, a revolutionary new test is coming out in the U.S. that will give results in 15 minutes, which is a huge upgrade. Illinois State, I was trying to see about which colleges are going to handle the coronavirus the best slash worst, because that's going to be a big decision on which college I go to, whether I go to COD for 1 or 2 years. Um, because if they handle it poorly, then it shows that they care about money more than public safety, and vice versa. So that's a key thing for me. Um, with Illinois State University, they reported 102 more coronavirus cases, and that topped 500 cases, which is kind of a lot, I think. South Korea study said children can carry coronavirus in their noses for up to 3 weeks. A Nevada lab confirmed the first U.S. coronavirus reinfection. So, and I think I saw stuff about possible coronavirus reinfection before, but this confirms it, and it shows that herd immunity wouldn't work, because I think there's a small window where you'd be immune after your first positive rate, but you can, obviously get reinfected, and that makes coronavirus a lot worse. The Republican National Convention started with many lies, and they made the Democrats look like enemies instead of trying to work together, and give that message. Speakers, excuse me, I can't talk today. The speakers are pathetic, or were pathetic. Charlie Kirk was the second speaker of the night, and it was all about division, complained about far right-wing people getting kicked off social media, said Trump was a defender of Western civilization. Yeah, okay, buddy. Um, Rebecca Friedrichs was a school teacher that was against teacher unions, because that makes sense. Tanya Weinreis was next, a small business owner whose business got a coronavirus relief check. Kim Klakich was a Republican congressional candidate, said Democrat-run cities are in ruins, falsely said Joe Biden thinks that minorities will always be Democrat, and thinks that, African American people can't think for themselves. It's really bad. And there was someone, this lady who, I forget her name, but she was at one point married to the California governor, Gavin Newsom, and I think Kimberly Guilfoyle or something like that, where she was literally just like screaming for like 15 seconds. I saw that, and that was pretty crazy slash funny at how stupid that was. Um, the chairwoman of the RNC said prayers for your people dealing with natural disasters, which I think was a one good thing of the convention. Um, she did. Oh yeah, and then there was a roll call for Trump supporters, like state by state, and that's when I changed this channel because, um, you know, unlike the DNC, the Republican National Convention, like in states like Texas and whatnot, there were like 20 people without masks or social distancing, like saying 4 more years, and it was really bad. So that's when I changed the channel. I didn't watch night 2, 3, 4. The Republican Party, though, is a joke at this point, and for Republicans, I just say abandon ship because the Republican values are not really there right now. So if I were a Republican, I'd want them to lose, have Joe Biden a moderate win, and then the Republican Party can reestablish itself. Like the Democratic Party did. Um, at one point, Bernie was looking like he was going to win the nomination, but the Democrats thought that the best chance they would have to win is with a more moderate candidate, so everyone pitched in to Joe Biden, and then he ended up winning the nomination. So it can be done, Republicans. I watched it on CNN. MSNBC, though, cut in every once in a while to call out some of the lies, so good work on that network. The Secretary of State Mike Pompeo spoke at the RNC, and the House panel was investigating if Pompeo violated the law. Trump delivered a speech at the White House for the Republican National Convention, which I think is against the Hatch Act, they were saying, because he's using his office for a Republican convention. Chairs were placed for the convention to seat 1,500 without social distancing, and I'm pretty sure people tested positive already from that event. Trump accepted the Republican nomination in a supposed boring speech. And actually, Trevor Noah on his show said this, and it's actually crystal clear that the aspect of, Trump saying, America is done with COVID, you can go out, all this, like America's message on COVID from Donald Trump was basically portrayed at the White House on that final night with, no social distancing, no masks, no nothing, he's just like saying it's over. And actually, during that time, during the 4 nights of the convention, nearly 4,000 Americans died of COVID-19. Senator Rand Paul was escorted out because he was met with Black Lives Matter protesters. The White House advisor called a White House advisor called Melania Trump, who cut down Jackie Kennedy's trees, the Jackie Kennedy of her time. Jackie Kennedy of her time. I just say to that advisor, I think it was Navarro, what an idiot. I mean, it's not even close. Melania literally doesn't do anything. She's the most useless first lady in probably history, or maybe before women had rights. At least since then, since women had more equal rights, I think the first lady she's just really bad first lady. Trump campaign secretly paid $180,000 a year to his son's significant others. Joe Biden's campaign announced endorsements from more than 24 former Republican lawmakers at around the time of the convention. Fires raged in Northern California, forced thousands to evacuate, left 5 dead, 30 injured. Prayers to those families that are dealing with that right now. California is facing wildfires, bad wildfires. It seems like every year, and climate change definitely has something to do with it. The fires have burned through 350,000 acres. I'm sure the number is a lot higher since I last checked. Hurricane Laura is now a Category 4. It landed along the coast of Texas and Louisiana. Decreased to a Category 2 storm. It left, and then a tropical storm. It left hundreds of thousands without power. I think they were saying it's not as bad as they expected, but with 150-mile-per-hour winds, it did a lot of damage. So hopefully those cities and states that got hit by Hurricane Laura in one way or another were able to recover from that. The National Guard was called in Minneapolis following homicide suspect's death. Police in Kenosha, Wisconsin shot a black man 7 times. The man is now hospitalized. His kids watched from the car. He was a father of 6. Bystanders saw the event. Blake was trying to break up a fight. He did have a knife in his car, but the cops wouldn't have known that. It definitely sparked a lot of protests, and police tear gassed the protesters, I think, the first night, and it caused an emergency curfew. Wisconsin activated the National Guard over the protests, and then to make matters a whole lot worse, a shooting occurred in Kenosha. Another shooting after that. The police officers that were involved were in the shooting of Jacob Blake were placed on administrative leave. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers seemed to be on Jacob Blake's side. Jacob Blake seems to now be paralyzed from the waist down. His family said it would take a miracle for him to walk again. Jacob's uncle said he was in serious but stable condition, showed appreciation for the protesters. The Washington Department of Justice is conducting an investigation, and when I was saying the second shooting, here it is. A 17-year-old guy who's a year younger than me thought it was a good idea to cross state borders from Illinois. I hate to say he's from Illinois, but he was. From Illinois to Kenosha, Wisconsin, and with an AR-15 assault rifle because his stupid, loony parents decided it would be a good idea to give this kid a freaking AR-15. I think he also had a shotgun, but he brought the AR-15 to Kenosha. This guy, Kyle Rittenhouse, who was arrested after 2 people were killed and 1 was pretty badly injured. And douchebag Tucker Carlson defended killer Kyle Rittenhouse, saying someone needed to, bring justice down or something like that. A Christian site raised over $97,000 for Kyle Rittenhouse after other crowd-funded sources were taken down. The Kenosha shooter was photographed sitting in front of a Trump rally in January. Big Trump fan. Because of course he was. The teen was charged with first-degree intentional homicide amid protests of the police shooting of Jacob Blake. A complaint was filed saying the teen fled Wisconsin with the intent to avoid prosecution. LeBron James said it's another troubling example of police brutality against black people, which is true. Detroit Lions canceled the practice in support of Jacob Blake. 7 teams, including the Chicago Bears, canceled practice afterward. That, I think it was a separate day than that. Teams and leagues say they are committed to help make change after these events. The MLB postponed the Brewers-Reds game. The NBA postponed the Bucks Magic, Rockets Thunder, Lakers Blazers Game 5. I think the Detroit Lions thing was first, but what started this huge sports postponement in support of the Black Lives Matter protests and what happened in Kenosha was actually the NBA, because the Bucks said they were going to boycott the game and not play the playoff game to protest the police brutality. So the NBA postponed the Game 5s. The NBA players agreed to resume playoffs after that. The Nike, official maker of the uniforms for the NBA and WNBA, and also the WNBA, also did things like, I think they postponed their games a little bit too. But Nike made a statement saying they would support any athlete refusing to play games in response to the shootings. The NHL did not postpone the games like other sports did that day, Wednesday. They had a moment to reflect on Jacob Blake, but it wasn't the same. But the players got involved for the NHL, and they actually stopped play for Thursday and Friday. Players, called up and organized for that, which was pretty impressive. The MLB did a lot. They sat in silence for 42 seconds for Jackie Robinson, and a player put a Black Lives Matter shirt on home plate, and then the players walked off the field. Trump refused to comment on Jacob Blake. Future Vice President Kamala Harris didn't hold back in a speech. She spoke in support of peaceful protesters but not looters. Activists on the 28th, so yesterday, gathered at the Lincoln Memorial to commemorate the historic Civil Rights March on Washington, and also demand police reform. Space Force sent out a confusing tweet. Trump's company charged the U.S. government more than $900,000. Jeff Bezos added $87 billion in wealth this year. All 400,000 Amazon employees made $13 billion this year. There's no way in hell that Jeff Bezos should have that much money. I mean, honestly, you think about how much money $1 million is, right? If you're a millionaire with $1 million, that's a crazy amount of money, right? Now, if you put that and you multiply by 1,000, you get freaking $1 billion, right? He's now worth over 200 billion. Like, why in the world would Jeff Bezos need $200 billion? Like, I get he's the CEO of Amazon, so he makes a lot of money, but what is this guy going to do with $200 billion? It's just ludicrous to me. A study found birds and reptiles cry similar tears to humans. MGM Resorts laid off 18,000 furloughed employees. Walmart looked to join Microsoft in controlling TikTok's U.S. operations. We did lose a legend yesterday, or technically 2 days ago, I guess. Chadwick Boseman, he died at age 43 from colon cancer. Yeah, it was hard. It was yesterday. Yesterday we lost Chadwick Boseman. It still hurts. I really liked Chadwick Boseman, even before Marvel, and I loved him in Black Panther and everything like that. I also saw 21 Bridges actually earlier this year, and that was a really great movie also. Obviously, he was really good playing Jackie Robinson. I think there was another one I didn't see where he was a singer and a judge. I didn't see those two. But, yeah, he definitely went too young. Chadwick Boseman, seemed like not only is a great actor, but also a great person. He had cancer for 4 years, and he made Black Panther and a lot of other great movies while fighting cancer. And he also died on Jackie Robinson Day. The good thing was that he was home with his family. He got a huge output of support from people, Marvel Studios, co-stars. It just tells you that 2020 is just not going to get better. In other alarming news, the Director of National Intelligence stopped in-person briefings on election security over leak concerns. The majority of older Americans over 50 say physical attraction is no longer most important in dating. Say it's kindness, a study says. I wish I'd be able to control my feelings for people a lot better than I do. So that's a pretty positive survey. COVID-19 lockdowns led to huge rise in textile sales. I just put that in there because there's so much crazy news that I thought it'd be funny to end it on a pretty funny item, But yeah, that's all the news I have for you guys. If you did enjoy, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Stay safe out there and have a good rest of August. See ya.